you're going to put Okudah on one side of the field and call it Okudah Island. And he's one of the best corners in the NFL right now. He's shut down all these receivers.
So whether or not you want to put Okudah one-on-one, I don't care. Figure out what the best game plan is. They've got capable weapons.
They do.
So I think the story of the weekend is this defense. We've given Jeff Okudah a ton of praise through 3 weeks. We've understood there was a lot of bracket coverage against Justin Jefferson.
It's not like it was Okudah Island over there. You know?
But you know what? I want to revisit Monday's conversation before we get to Metcalf. And Monday's conversation, what did or let's back up even more than that. Who did I compare his play at the line of scrimmage to?
Jalen Ramsey.
That's all you need to know. At the line of scrimmage, I understand he is getting help. Rightfully so. You don't want to leave anybody one-on-one with Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, that's
none of these guys.
That's an obvious one, right?
But at the line of scrimmage, that had more to do with anything, in my opinion. His physicality at the line of scrimmage. So yes, I do agree with Metcalf's comments, though. It's nothing but the truth. He had a ton of safety help, but he's a damn good corner. And he's a good corner because of his play at the line of scrimmage.
Right.
That safety help is allowing him to play press man. He's getting up in whoever it is. And last week it was Justin Jefferson. And like I said, anytime you could pause the screen, just go back and watch. Anytime you'd pause the screen, pause the game. Wherever Justin Jefferson was, Okudah was in the vicinity, along with another Detroit Lions, sometimes even two more.
Right.
That was the game plan. It was a good game plan. It worked. It worked. Now, did you have busted coverage with KJ Osborne and everything else? Yeah, but right now I want to talk about Jeff Okudah. Through 3 games, I think he has shown the player he can be. Now, is he somebody you're going to leave out on an island? I don't think, 1, they should do that.
No.
And 2, he's not, I don't want to say he's not capable, but I don't think he's there yet. This will be his, 12th career start?
Mm-hmm. Coming off an Achilles injury.
This will be his 4th game coming off an Achilles. He played 10, so it's actually his 15th start. 15th total game. He hasn't even played a full season yet. DK Metcalf comes out, like I said, says he's a damn good corner, but he had a ton of safety help. Are you worried that we are maybe ahead of ourselves on the Jeff Okudah praise and his performances early on this year, given the reality is there is a ton of safety help with Devontae Smith, Terry McLaurin, more notably Justin Jefferson? It was obvious. You know, a lot of what he did against Devontae Smith was on his own, but we have to take that with a pinch of salt because A.J. Brown was tearing apart the Detroit Lions, and so was Miles Sanders. So regardless, Jeff, your thoughts on DK Metcalf?
I don't have necessarily a problem with what he said, because he did say he's a good corner. He said the reality, which was Jeff Okudah did get safety help on Justin Jefferson. But also, I might add, whenever Justin Jefferson was in the middle of the field and it was him and Jeff Okudah, Jeff would make a play on the ball. I mean, there was one time where I think he had a pass deflection on Justin Jefferson. Those things you can look at and see the improvements on Jeff Okudah. But overall, it's not like you're going to put Okudah on one side of the field and call it Okudah Island. He's not there yet. And I don't think really there's any corner in the league you're doing that with, especially with the top wide receivers in this league. You're going to want safety help. And there was times I went back and watched, because after these comments came out, I wanted to go watch every snap, or most snaps, with Jeff and Justin Jefferson one-on-one. I wanted to go back and watch. And one thing I noticed was Justin Jefferson did beat Jeff Okudah a couple times at the line of scrimmage. But that's the point of having safety help. Why if you know that Justin Jefferson is that dude, or anybody in the league is that dude, Javonte Adams, you're not going to put him one-on-one. You're going to want safety help, especially over the top. But right now, Tracy Walker's injured. So you're going to have Deshaun Elliott out there. But besides that, Juju Hughes. So I'm curious what safety help Jeff Okudah is going to have this week. You're still going to want to send somebody. DK's a threat downfield. You saw the pass Geno Smith had last week on the Atlanta Falcons in the red zone. DK mossed like 2 people. So you're going to want safety help. But with Jeff Okudah, why Lions fans are so high on him as opposed to nationally is because we understand what he's went through. We understand what he's had to overcome. And to get to this point, I'm not going to sit here and say he shut down all these receivers, but he played well, Adam. I mean, not a lot of corners nowadays. You could talk about shutting guys down besides Darius Slay, and he's one of the best corners in the NFL right now. So if Jeff Okudah can make an impact on a week-to-week basis and be our best corner, Lions fans are allowed to have praise for him. But DK, it's going to be interesting this week because I think this is the matchup we're going to be watching is Jeff Okudah on DK Metcalf. And I think last year, Jeff Okudah wasn't there, but DK had 3 touchdown catches. I know it was with Russell Wilson as well against the Lions last year, but I don't really think it's that big a deal that Lions fans are very high on Jeff Okudah. Like, this is what you want to talk about, the good things you see with Jeff. The fact that he has safety help or not, I mean, who cares? Aaron Glenn put together a really good game plan against Justin Jefferson, and it was enough. Obviously, 3 catches for 14 yards. It was effective. And I know Iffy will be out there too this week. We'll see. But overall, Adam, I mean, these comments are irrelevant. It's just DK watching film and stating the obvious. Yes, he had safety help, but that doesn't take away from how well he played.
Who are you more concerned with heading into Sunday? Tyler Lockett or DK Metcalf?
DK.
Really?
Yeah. Because those big plays. Like DK can, Tyler Lockett can take some chunks off, but DK's that, I mean, he's your red zone target. He's your, especially on this, you saw what KJ Osborne did? Imagine if that was DK Metcalf. Like you're not catching him. So I would probably say DK. Or maybe you put Ermanni on DK because he's slightly taller. And then you put Jeff Okudah on Tyler Lockett. I think it's either way, but Amani's got to play better, though, to be able to say to put him on DK.
That's the thing. Have we ever scolded Ermanni Owarrior outside of Monday?
No.
Have we ever walked in on a Monday and said, man, this kid sucked on Sunday?
No, coming off a back injury, I mean, he
well,
struggled.
There's that, and the reality is he's been a very good corner for the last 12, 14, 16 months.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit here and just completely forget that. Awful performance against Minnesota? Absolutely. Not a fan of it at all. Way too many penalties. He literally couldn't guard anybody. He couldn't guard me on Sunday. It was that bad. And there ain't much to guard with me. I don't got anything. There's no agility, no speed here. So look, the DK Metcalf situation, I asked you who are you more concerned with. I would expect something similar to what you saw against Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
But
like Thielen being Lockett.
Let's remember something. Geno Smith last week, 32 of 44, 300-plus yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. You're going to have to get a pass rush on him.
Mm-hmm.
Or Tyler Lockett, who will likely see a lot of one-on-one matchups, can beat you, and he'll beat you deep. So there is a positive and a negative to all of this. If you're going to overcommit to DK, you have to ensure Lockett can't beat you over the top. And do you trust Owarrior? Or do you put Okudah on him? Or does Okudah focus on DK?
Well, considering what we saw out of Ermanni Owarrior against A.J. Brown, I'd probably put Okudah on DK. Now that this matchup is more of a realistic matchup. I mean, Dan Campbell talked about the confidence Jeff Okudah is playing with right now. Confidence is, majority of everything for a corner. And if he's confident, throw him on DK. Like Ermanni right now is coming off a really bad game. I would not put him on DK Metcalf, but again, that's and Dan kind of alluded to this in his press conference, or he talked about this, how the confidence that Jeff's playing with and how well he's playing, he said it alleviates pressure on other points of the defense because now you don't have to necessarily worry as much about Jeff Okudah. Do I think guys are going to have good games on Jeff Okudah? Yes, every corner. Ask Jalen Ramsey how he looked game 1 against Stephon Diggs. It's going to happen. But the overall, the point of the whole conversation is, Adam, people think like DK, for example, this isn't, Revis Island. Like this is what you do in today's NFL. Most guys get safety help. Like the offense is so heavily favored nowadays.
There are maybe 4, 5, or 6 corners at most.
Like maybe you throw Jalen Ramsey one-on-one.
Yeah, no, you have a Jalen Ramsey, you have a
trail him.
Jair Alexander, you have even a Patrick Surtain. Okay, right. Yeah, I'm up for it. There are those guys,
but those guys aren't coming off an Achilles injury too, so they're not as,
Achilles injury or not, the reality is, I think Seattle's a problem, and I know you're 4.5-point favorites,
right.
But I will continue to say it. If the pass rush that showed up in Minnesota is there on Sunday, which was nothing, you're going to struggle to beat Seattle. You're just going to give Geno all the time in the world to figure out Lockett, Metcalf, Will Dissly, K9, and Rashad Penny. They've got capable weapons.
They do.
So I think the story of the weekend is this defense. And whether or not you want to put Okudah one-on-one, I don't care. I don't. Figure out what the best game plan is. But again, I am worried about Tyler Lockett. That is somebody that can take the top off the defense. We know he's going to be running those vertical routes most of the game. That is one of his specialties. He'll beat you underneath.
Right.
We'll see.
And that's what the pass rush is so important. And Dan also talked about that. Because after the game, when John Comiskey got injured after the game against the Commanders, I said they're going to miss John Comiskey. Dan Campbell said it yesterday. We're going to miss John Comiskey. Like that, and not like John Comiskey is this elite pass rusher, but not only is he just depth for your defensive line, but he helps them set up a lot of those decoys for guys like Aiden and for everybody to help get home. He's not there anymore, and you don't have Romeo Okoro back. I think the pass rush is one of the most important factors or elements of this game, Adam. You got to get to Geno Smith because that offensive line, decent in the run game, but pass protection, they struggled against the Atlanta Falcons. And I believe our defensive line is a little more talented than the Atlanta Falcons, but we'll see. They got to get home. It's important. You can't play a game like you did last week and barely pressure Kirk Cousins.